GOP senators who are opposed to Xavier Becerra as Biden's nominee to head the Department of Health and Human Services have actually taken tens of millions of dollars from Big Pharma. That's relevant because Becerra himself has fought back against Big Pharma in his career and has also been in favor of Medicare for all. And that just doesn't go along with the best interests of these pharmaceutical donors. So the Senate Finance Committee ended up being deadlocked along party lines on whether to advance his nomination. Now, luckily, there are some maneuvers that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer can do to bring this to a floor vote, and that is likely to happen. So don't worry about where this confirmation stands now. But it is important to see what the influencing factors are. And we have some analysis to share with you, including the fact that 14 Republican members of the panel have taken $36.1 million from the health sector, including $9.6 million from Big Pharma, a fact that progressives say explains the GOP's opposition to Joe Biden's cabinet pick, a supporter of Medicare for all. So I've said this before, I'll say it again, Xavier Becerra isn't some hardcore leftist, but when you look at where he stands relative to other nominees, he's actually a pretty good pick. And he has been on the record supporting Medicare for all. He has actually put some action behind his words in the state of California in attempting to protect consumers from Big Pharma's greed. And so Becerra has pledged to expand healthcare access and lower drug prices. According to accountable.us, they're the ones who did this analysis. The opposition to Becerra by Republican members of the Senate Finance Committee who have oversight of the very same industries that have bankrolled their campaigns with millions of dollars reflects an effort to appease their Big Pharma donors. And I'll give you one specific example before you jump in, Cenk. Senator John Cornyn, who's on this committee, has accepted over $1.7 million from the health sector throughout his career, including $1 million from Big Pharma. And by the way, Cornyn is someone who has closer ties to the pharmaceutical industry. In fact, he said this: I don't know what his health and human services credentials are. It's not like Alex Azar, who used to be, work for pharma. That's all you really need to know, work for pharma. They want people who have close, cozy ties to the pharmaceutical industry. And the fact that Becerra does not have that is what turns them off to him.
Look, this story has two angles too. So number one, we're gonna build something called a platform for change, okay? So we haven't talked much about it, but when we ask you to build out your profiles on the website and stuff, do that because it's really important. Why? We're gonna do change campaigns, kind of like what we're doing with the $15 minimum wage, but we're gonna allow you guys to drive it, okay? So the reason I'm telling you all this is because we're gonna create a system where we're gonna do hashtag bribes on every single one of these. And we're gonna let the media know, and we're gonna ask them over and over again, $36 million. $36 million. You think what, for their health, for the environment, for the general public welfare? No, they're buying the politicians. Now, look at that quote that Anna just read you. Cornyn is so brazen because the media will not challenge them on the bribes. So he just he takes corporate rule as a given and a positive. And he's like, this son of a bitch didn't even work for corporations that would benefit from the bills that we pass. How dare he try to be a public servant? No, he should be corporations' bitch, and he isn't. Like the rest of us, we sit here taking millions upon millions of dollars, and now we're just publicly saying this guy is not corrupt, and we will not stand for it. Okay, it's just amazing. If you live anywhere in the world that isn't America, you probably can't believe it. No, guys, it's true. In America, we legalized bribery and we called it campaign contributions. All these industries just give these guys giant checks, millions of dollars that they use to get reelected. It's just, the whole thing's a scam. Now, the second part is Becerra is actually borderline great. And that's weird, right? And that's why the Republicans are flipping out. They're like, are you actually gonna put a progressive into your government? What are you, nuts? I thought we agreed we weren't gonna do this. And so I will give Biden credit on this one. Becerra is an excellent pick for health and human services. He's in favor of Medicare for all. In the things that I've seen, look, we got a pretty strong BS meter here. And if he's pretending, but he isn't really in favor of it, we will suss that out. So far, so good. So I almost can't believe that they're gonna put him at HHS. Now, look, don't get me wrong. It's not like the cabinet level person gets to decide what the bills are. So Becerra can't make Medicare for all happen. And so they and Biden knows that, and Biden's against Medicare for all. But give him credit for picking an actual pretty strong progressive, and that's exactly why the Republicans that are completely corporate owned have their hair on fire, because this guy might actually work for us, the voters.
Yeah, look. The head of HHS, it's important for that person to have an understanding of all the ways in which our healthcare system is broken, like legitimately broken, not broken in the way that Republicans would have you believe, right? Republicans would say like, no, let's make sure that private health insurance companies actually cover less, and let's not offer you any Medicare. We'll offer you health savings accounts, so you can put money that you don't have into an account that can only be used for approved healthcare spending anyway. But I do want to offer you some other examples of Republican lawmakers who serve on the Senate Finance Committee, who of course have voted no in confirming Becerra. You also have Mike Crapo, who's from Rhode Island. He has accepted over $1.8 million from the health sector throughout his career, including over $616,000 from Big Pharma. He also raked in contributions from the healthcare and financial sectors as he was poised to become the committee chairman at the end of last year. And the list goes on and on, Cenk. I mean, Chuck Grassley, he also serves on this committee. He has accepted over $3.7 million from the health sector throughout his career, including nearly $1 million from Big Pharma. I mean, this corruption Congress is drenched in it, and it's become so commonplace and so accepted that you're right, that once you have someone who's not bought off by private insurance companies or the private healthcare industry, that ends up being the shock. Like that ends up being something that they fight against harder than doing something to actually represent the best interests of their constituents.
Yes, and one last part of this, the only people that the Republicans are still objecting to are Becerra, and the rest are all women of color candidates. Those are the ones that they're objecting to. So we're gonna fight back against all of them. Hey, we gave you Neera Tanden, win-win, okay? But everyone else, no, we're fighting for, especially the progressive.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.